am on a mission, and that mission is to slap people upside the head and wake them up and even make them hate me, if that's what it takes to get them to go examine what I'm telling them to find out that it's right.
First of all, this needs to be said. There never was a war. How can you say that, Bill? Well, a war is when two armies are fighting.
Politicians. Everybody complains about politicians. Everybody says they suck. Well, where do people think these politicians come from? They don't fall out of the sky. They don't pass through a membrane from another reality. They come from American parents and American families, American homes, American schools, American churches, American businesses, and American universities, and they're elected by American citizens. This is the best we can do, folks. This is what we have to offer. It's what our system produces. Garbage in, garbage out.
You know, and all these hidden agendas and just brainwashing and bizarre belief systems that are being thrown at us, you know, when they should all leave. Not only the good ones and the bad ones, they should all just leave and leave us alone.
And happy Tuesday to everyone out there in Radio Land. Coming at you live here, directly from the server of UCY.TV. We got stuck in there somehow, and I don't know what we're doing inside the server, but we are broadcasting live this Tuesday evening. Hope everyone's got their din-din in them, and their supper went down tonight, and they got a beer in front of them. And, you know, and you're listening to Just in Time, and this is Justyn, and my co-host James is on with me tonight too.
Hello. How are you?
I'm doing very, very good.
Just stop, dude. Just stop. All right.
Oh, okay.
Back to whatever reality.
Back to some version of reality, whichever one you want to believe is real. So, yeah, guys, we got open phones tonight if anyone wants to jump in. 718-717-8296. We are live, breathing and live. And did I say live yet?
Not yet.
Okay, we're live.
All right.
You gotta calm down over there, dude.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, so, yeah, call in. We're gonna have fun here. It's gonna be all kinds of fun, talking about stuff.
I have something to talk about that I heard at the bar today. Because I was there in the afternoon, which is always fun.
Can I tell a really lame bar joke?
Oh, go right ahead.
All right. An Irishman walks into a bar.
Surprise.
That's the joke.
See,
I told you, lame ass.
The whole point of that, though, is an Irishman walked in, but how long has it been since he walked out?
They don't walk out. That's the thing. The better joke would be one walked out of the bar. Like
exactly. See.
Well, it doesn't.
But I did hear something interesting at the bar today that I didn't really know much about before I heard it. So allegedly, there's some rock on the moon that's moved or was in some picture, and then when he went to show me the picture online, it's been blotted out. Like everything around the picture is crystal clear, but the one section, it's been pixelated out.
So the rock monsters are starting to come alive,
or the UFOs, as this person believed that was there, or was some sort of moon base, or I don't know. There was wild theories going all across the bar, but.
Theories in the bar? No.
Yeah, imagine that, huh?
No. Yeah. That's where all the best conspiracy theories started, at the bar for like 5 Guinness. And like,
I personally like the new black and tans that they serve there.
Yeah.
Guinness and Switchback. But
oh, that's cool. They'd have to call it something else though. They call it a Guinea-back. Or a
Guinea-back?
Guinea-back.
Well, hey. Or a swishness?
Swishness. I'll take a swishness, please. Actually, that sounds like that's a great name for it, the swishness.
Swishness.
I'd like me a swishness with a TNT on the side and a shot of tequila to wash it down with, and I will be puking out back when you need me.
I'll say a TNT on the side. Jesus, dude. What kind of... Okay. Do we have to have an intervention for you online right now? Do we have to have an on-air intervention for Justyn? Is that what we need to do?
Can we have an exorcism instead?
Only if you want to be stabbed like 37 times.
Cool. I'm down with it. Do I get to pick the object?
Sure.
Okay, I got plenty of dull spoons. I'll take a dull spoon to the chest.
Hey.
I heard something wicked interesting, and I think everyone in chat's going to find this interesting. And if I was smart about it, I would have looked up the article. But according to the Times-Argus newspaper, down in southern Vermont, this is going to be funny. Down in southern Vermont, there is a Korean massage place.
Yeah. Happy ending spot.
The happy ending spot, exactly.
Yep.
And this place was being, scoped out by the Popo, and they built their investigative case and everything, and they brought them all to court under prostitution charges for the happy endings.
Yep.
Well, this is how the verdict went down. Under the Vermont prostitution law, as long as there's no penetration, it's not prostitution. So happy endings are legal.
Yep.
So if anyone wants a legal happy ending, we need some tourism up here.
Come to Vermont, get a happy ending.
That's right. Some happy ending, maple syrup, and go skiing, man. Mix it all together. You know
What's really funny is I know the director of Vermont State Tourism. We should propose that idea to her. Come to Vermont, have a happy ending.
We should do? We should not even do that, man. We'll make bumper stickers. We'll make bumper stickers, right? Get your maple syrup and happy ending in one spot. That's right. I went there.
Happy ending.
Yes, good times had by all. Covered in maple syrup.
I don't know why I find that so amusing, but I do.
Pick up your knee pads on the way out. Oh, man.
Oh, goodness.
So, yeah, I thought that was thoroughly entertaining. That
I heard that 2 days ago on the radio, and they're working on amendments to that bill, law thing, whatever piece of paperwork that it says we can't do what we want to do. They're going to close that loophole, because that's what it is a loophole.
And people are using that loophole?
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem. People are using the loophole, so
You and your innuendo.
Hey, man, I just say what comes to my head. And this is brain regurgitation radio.
This is organic,
in between train wreck
organic
and
conversation, because it takes its own life.
Is it USDA approved organic? It's like 70% organic,
If it was USDA
30%
approved,
drive.
it would be pumped full of hormones, beef tallow, and other bits of animal. So no, we're not USDA approved, because we're not doing anything bad for anyone else. So, that's my opinion of the USDA allowing growth hormones and other things into our food supply. I read an interesting thing for a class the other day about, honestly, interestingly enough, it was for my English composition class, but it was a story about a slaughterhouse, blah, 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 blah. But one of the lines that struck me was that, yes, there's so much manure caked to these animals that it's almost impossible to make sure that no manure or fecal matter gets into the food supply. How's that? It almost made me want to not eat, but
Anything?
Any beef anyhow, but
And it comes from that area of town.
yeah, but that's the Midwest.
These are the commercial big. Oh man, I drove past one of those in Texas, man, and the people that live in those area, I feel so bad. Like that for 90 miles before and 90 miles after, all you can smell
cow poop,
urine, and crap. Yeah, and it's not good.
No, but and
it's so horrible. When you drive by, you see the cows have that you've seen the people that sit on the corner and they're all drugged up. They have that same look.
Yeah.
And they're standing there. I'm sure the drug on the corner, if they could just be fed drugs and stand in their own shit, they would.
Yep.
But they're standing literally knee deep in their own shit. And this is supposed to be later slaughtered humanely, which depending on your version of humane, for using our freedom bomb spreading logic, it's not so humane. It's horrible and disgusting.
You just mentioned the wrong word
What?
Logic.
Oh man, I'm
You know,
sorry.
how many people don't know what that means? Like, you're going to send a bunch of people into a
All
tailspin.
right, I'll use correct logic instead. Okay, 1001 1000 111000100001. Dot 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 dot.
Most people don't have logic in their brains.
Well, you know, they don't have common sense either, because common sense not so common no more.
Well, you know, that kind of goes hand in hand, don't they? Logic, common sense. I don't know. That's just for me. Common sense.
Well, you want to hear a common sense logic problem that I deal with like at least once a month at work?
I'm sure we've heard it before, but yes.
No. I don't think I've said this on air before, but
Really?
this is the logic.
Well,
that,
but I know. I know. For me, it's not that big. Like, it's not that big of a surprise for me because I know everybody you work with. So, but for those out in Radio Land, so they want to hear what you have to say, Justyn. Let it fly.
All right, everyone. Sorry, I had a frog stuck in my throat. So here's a logic problem that you think that, or logic, I guess the lack of logic and brain power. I had just did a major engine job on a car, and I drive the car outside, and I go for a test drive, and I bring it back, and I park it, and I hand the work order in, and I have to hand write down all my parts. I forgot to write down the oil and the coolant.
Those should be given on any sort of repair order.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
Service writer comes out after like half an hour when he finally gets to doing his job. Comes out and goes, "Did you put any oil and coolant in that car?" I'm like, No, I just drove it down the road for 20 minutes with no oil and coolant in it, dude. Yeah, I forgot to write it down. Like, you think the logic would be there. Like, I drove it, he watched me drive it out, you know, like.
Well, okay, for the sake of those out there that don't know, I know who you're dealing with on a level, and it does not surprise me that this guy can't put logical thoughts together in such a way. I wouldn't even call that critical freaking thinking. I would call that just like, that should be a given. Like,
it had oil and coolant in it, yeah.
You rebuilt an engine, so therefore it got new coolant and oil.
Like he would have sounded smarter if he came out and said, like, how much oil and coolant did you use? That would have been a smarter question.
Exactly. See, now, he's not that bright, though. So, you know, I mean, and I really wish he could hear this right now, but.
No, they all know I come on the radio, and then none of them asked where, and none of them really care. Travis would listen, but he's
involved with.
Well, we have two Travises, so there's one that just there's nothing between his temples. I'm pretty sure there's a marble in there that just kind of rolls around. When it gets spinning good, that's a good day. And then the other one, you know, he's so distracted with his RC cars and his kid. You can't get the kid to sit still.
He's
He's like,
oh, look at chicken.
That's pretty much it. But yeah, absent of logic right there. Oh yeah, sorry man. I was gonna say like, oh shit, I should have put oil and coolant in it. What was I thinking? I'll go do that right now.
You should have. You totally should have. Made him just be like, eh. But that, you just said it though. The absence of logic. What it comes down to, I think, in somebody in that dude's position who, A, doesn't deserve that position. Actually, doesn't even deserve to be touching a car, in my opinion. But the fact that this dude can't put these thoughts together and can't put together just shows, A, either complete lack of caring for the business that he is helping run, or it just shows what a lazy D-bag he is. So, you know, that's just.
Well, you see, the lack of logic is stemmed off of this one thing he does twice a year, every year. I think over the course of however many decades he's been plaguing this planet, he's been getting his flu shots. And every time he gets his flu shot, he's a little dumber the next day.
Well,
yeah.
I don't know if I'd necessarily agree with that theory because my wife gets a flu shot and she's not dumb at all.
No, but she's forced to.
No,
she gets it on purpose.
Voluntarily.
She does it on purpose.
Yes. She takes it, but you.
All right, someone in chat's got to call in on that comment right now. I'm putting out a beacon to the world out here in chat. Mr. James' wife condones vaccinations. Now I want to see what kind of I don't know
about vaccinations.
Okay, well, then I know she's listening. She should call in and verify that it's just the flu shot.
As far as I know. as far as I know, it's just a flu shot.
If they had a vaccine for stupidity, I might start handing that out. But
I would run around just
jabbing people,
just like they're trying to do in Vermont right now. With if you get arrested and you seem to be in a mental state, they're going to force medication on you. Have you heard this?
No, I haven't heard that.
You haven't heard that?
No, that sounds like fun. Let's go into that. Yeah, that's exactly what I want to hear tonight.
They want to be able to have it on paper somewhere that if they feel it necessary, they can forcibly medicate you with psychodrugs. Just because, you're upset about something. And now I will say from personal experience, I have been so extremely pissed off at numerous things and everything caught up with me at once that I could have been considered to be schizophrenic, wandering around punching at the air, screaming, yelling, muttering, would have completely thought somebody could have completely thought I was schizophrenic, and they could have forced drugs on me for a 48-hour period. They can hold you for up to 48 hours.
And then drug you right up.
Pump the hell out of you full of drugs. Well,
that's good for all the drug addicts.
I suppose, but that's not what they're looking for.
No, it's not, but I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there.
No, I know.
So okay, here's a scenario. Here's a scenario that's never happened to me before. Ever. So, your girlfriend of 10 years leaves you for a 50-year-old douchebag, piece of crap, violently in the afternoon, and then the middle of the night. And then, while you're dealing with this psychopath throwing your keys and all your stuff out on the front yard, and you're a little distraught at this point, I'm sure, just a little bit. Sure, yeah. And then you're forced to go sleep on your friend, your ex-drummer from your band that broke up recently. You're forced to sleep on his 4-year-old's bed because the 4-year-old's at his Grammy's house that night. So there's me,
a guy you know.
Yeah, a guy looks just like me. Sitting there with, Bob the Builder, and then you decide.
I just have to ask real quick on a side note, not to distract you, what kind of sheets were on the bed?
Oh, they were, who's the train dude?
Oh, Thomas the Train.
Thomas the Train. That's exactly who that was, yes.
Sorry, all right, so continue.
All right, back on the actual story. Side notes aside. And they go out and have a cigarette. This person has a cigarette on the porch. And they're all like, meh. And then the cops call you. Because your vehicle was seen in in an incident that pertained to something that happened during the day. And you're like, well, what the hell happened with my car? Who was driving? What happened?
Yeah, tell me what happened first.
So, after a whole night of that, and then going back and then being thrown out of your house again, after you go back and you're like, why are the cops calling me? So as I'm walking back to the place I just left at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I got that all I just been kicked right square in the pelvis and the forehead, and then rolled down the hill, and then spit on
set on fire
by a rabid donkey on crack. Okay. They could just drag me off the street.
They could have. Yes, if you were that distraught, which I'm sure. Oh, excuse me. If that person was that distraught,
this is kind of fun.
They could have been taken to a hospital and, against their will, fed psychodrugs.
Now, this is the law?
Well, they're working on it.
Okay.
They're working on putting that into play because of something that we talked about on air a couple months ago, which was the guy with the shovel.
The guy with the shovel.
Yes, that was killed by Burlington PD, which those guys got off scot-free. They were found there was nothing wrong with what they did, even though they pumped 5 rounds into this guy in the chest.
There's 2 other things they could have done first.
Yeah.
3, actually. Crack him in the face with your freaking billy club, mace him or
cops
tase him.
Don't carry billy clubs. And those 2.
They don't carry billy clubs anymore?
No. And those 2 officers, which were both trained in tasers, which I found out neither one of them had a taser with them at that day. Conveniently didn't have the taser on them. Just FYI. I think we got to start issuing the new Ruger Congressman pistol to everyone out there and the law enforcement. I agree with you. We should start giving those out to people.
We should. I don't know if anyone heard about it, man, but Mike Rovero, yesterday was, talking it all up, man. The congressman from Ruger, it's really expensive. It doesn't work. and it can't fire it. So I think we should start handing those out to law enforcement and military. And I think Dianne Feinstein should conceal carry about 5 of those things. I don't know where she would hide it, but I can venture a guess where she would. To say the sun don't shine there.
On a very sad note, musically though, Pete Seeger died.
I saw that.
Yes, that was
He's like 94.
94, yeah. Not that I was way into Pete Seeger's folky hippie music scene or any of that, but what the guy stood for was a very honorable thing, and more people should be like that.
Well, you should give us a little quick bio then, if you know so much about him.
I don't know that much about Pete Seeger.
Well, you know more than I do, obviously.
Okay, well, Pete Seeger was, he fought in World War II. I know that. I know he dropped out of Harvard to ride a bicycle across country. Hooked up with Woody Guthrie. Woody Guthrie taught him how to hop trains and taught him some other political stuff. I also know that Pete Seeger, when he was testifying in front of Congress, refused to answer questions about his military service and was then thoroughly blacklisted for about 6 to 10 years. Couldn't get a job, wasn't allowed to play on TV, all sorts of other things of that nature. But then the tide turned, so to speak, with the collective consciousness of this country. And then he started to get real popular and got super famous for being a staunch folk artist and believer in, imagine this, the rights of the people. But
what's that?
Yeah, well, I don't know.
They didn't teach
I've never
me
been
that.
raised with those.
They didn't teach me that in high school.
Well, no, they taught you. They just taught you their version of those. But,
yes, the right to bear and keep and bear arms is restricted to the militia.
Hey, if you want to have T-shirt on at any time of the day, you can have bear arms all you want. All right. So according to the government, you're allowed to bear your arms.
That's right. So all you bodybuilders
I'm not allowed
out
to
there,
own a firearm, but I can have bare arms.
You can have a firearm. You're just gonna have to spray a lot of gasoline on one arm and light the sucker, wave it around. But then the cop's gonna come over and forcibly drug you for acting like a crazy guy in the street. This will go downhill quick.
We're already close to the bottom. We're just getting dropped on. The valley's filling up with poo quickly. But anyhow, so that's all I know about Pete Seeger, really.
Yeah, well, he sounds like he's a really upstanding dude.
To a
certain extent.
He was also an influential person in MLK's pushing of them singing "We Shall Overcome." He really liked that song, and it became the marching song for the civil rights activists. So he was instrumental in that, and he helped teach them that, and blah blah blah. But he was always on the side of the little guy, which good for him. Like I say, I don't agree with a lot of things. Not even a lot, but some of the stuff that he talked about and things like that. But any man or woman that's willing to stand up for what they believe in fully, damn the consequences, and bully for them, because, a lot of people in this country don't have that backbone, and they're willing to sit in their basement and,
But they do type in capitals when they're pissed.
Oh, yeah, because that makes me feel so threatened from 3,800 miles away.
I'm telling you, we got to patent the double caps key on a keyboard.
We can't do that. And every time somebody types in all capitals, guess what? We make money.
We make money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn the torpedoes. Let's do it. But I mean, it's, it just goes along, with that one person's, when people say that, what can I do? What can one person do? Well, that one person made a significant change in a lot of things. Granted, he was a great musician and knew how to sing and all that, and I have none of that ability, but it just makes me wonder. I think that each one of us has something. You just have to learn how to tap into that. And
look at it from the opposite spectrum. Because people are like, what can we do to make positive change? Well, do it the same way you make negative change. Like when you get drunk and you reckon to 9 people, well, you ruined all their lives and you didn't even try. So do it the opposite.
Good point.
It's easy to infect.
Well, that's
infect change in people's lives. You just gotta figure out how you can do it positively. Even if it is just like going to the bar and pissing the person off next to you, which I've done plenty of times.
Oh, yeah.
Down at Cuddy's.
Yeah.
Just one dude.
Yeah.
And it was actually, he was respectful enough because we were arguing about 9/11 and his daughter. He was this guy, I don't even remember what the hell his name was. Just, I've never seen him there before and never saw him there again. Cause I've stopped going there, but it's a long drive for a $5 beer.
Yes, it is.
But
it is on the way home.
his daughter, like he was way into this whole, the whole system because his daughter was a translator for the CIA.
Ah, yes. Yeah.
I was
Actually, I think I know who you're talking about.
The dude with the glasses, the kind of older dude.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I know exactly who you're talking about. But that's the thing is like, it's from the way you're raised, unless something bad happened to you, you're either on one side of the fence or the other. And that's just what it comes down. What I've learned is that I know you over there on that side of the fence. I know who you are, I know what you stand for, and I know who you could be, but guess what? You're on the wrong side of the fence, and you're on the business end of the whatever I have in my hand. So
His name was Wilson.
Well done! Well done! Well, yeah, I don't know.
Well, yeah, there's no like middle of the road. You're Bush, I think W said it just fine when he said, you're either with us or you're with the terrorists.
Pretty much.
And, you know, the freaking sad fact of the truth is he's right. They've freaking redefined and added such a huge verbiage to the term terrorist that you're either with them, bending over, accepting what you're given, and
let's see, you know what?
Or not.
Where's your phone? Let's do
phone?
something right now that we haven't done online before.
Okay, what are we doing? Here's
Look
my
up
phone.
on Google. Google it, because that's a verb now.
Apparently.
Google terrorist.
All right.
Let's go with the definition, of terrorist.
All right.
And then we'll continue our conversation from there because
All right, I got my Google Foo device out and I'm Google Fooing.
Your mobile tracking device?
Yes. But this when we Google something, it's actually called, I was informed by Travis that it's called Google Fooing.
Google Fooing?
It's a Google Foo. It's like a martial art, apparently.
So now we're trying to bring Bruce Lee into Google, too.
You know, apparently, dude.
Just leave Bruce Lee alone. Him and his kid are dead. Just leave him alone. He was great when he was here. Just leave him alone. Just leave Bruce Lee.
You know what's funny? You know, as you type into Google and it like predicts what you're going to search. Well, I wrote definition of, and this is the top 5. Okay.
This is just as good as that.
This is,
yes, go ahead.
We could do this for a while.
We could.
Definition of derivative.
No.
But pertaining to like stuff we talk about, the derivative market and all that bullshit.
Yeah,
so like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
And then the next one's definition of insanity.
Okay, that's all right.
I'll let everyone know it's just repeating the same shit over and over and over again, expecting a different result.
Yep.
And then we got definition of love.
Okay.
Someone's got some issues out there.
Yeah.
A lot of people, because they've been typing that in enough to make it number 3.
Yep.
And then definition of culture.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
I can see where people are confused about that. You know, it's
because
like a bacteria culture or like a people culture.
Well, we're a culturalist. We are a culturalist society in a lot of ways, but we don't have a definable culture. But anyways, continue on.
And the last one is on because my Google phone only does 5, and the last one's globalization.
Oh.
So
but it didn't even come up with terrorists when you put in T as the first letter.
I didn't put T in. I just put definition of.
Oh, okay.
And now I got the T in there now. Now the first one is definition of the derivative. And then it's definition of terrorist.
There we go.
And then definition of thought, which I'm not sure what they mean because it's THOT. It's either people are really stupid and can't spell.
More than likely.
And then the next one down is definition of terrorism and definition of the tone in literature.
No. All right. So let us.
And I'm getting there.
Elucidate.
I had to get through this.
Yes,
Ooh.
I know.
All right. The Free Merriam-Webster Dictionary.
No, we want the Oxford. I'm just kidding, dude. I'm just kidding. It took you forever to get there, so.
Well, it's because I was talking. This whole talking thing gets in the way, dude. Let's see here. Oh, well, okay.
Basically, I feel like
I don't have a really big definition on this one. We're going to have to search it again, but this one says main entry, and it says the pronunciation terrorism, and it says function, noun, and it says date 1795. Okay. So this is the definition 1795.
Perfect.
It says the systematic use of terror, especially as a mean of coercion.
So any one of us could be a terrorist, really, in our day-to-day lives.
Dude, those chicks at the bar that walk around trying to get dudes to buy them beers, even though their boyfriend's at the bar waiting for them for the free beers.
Yep.
They're terrorists.
I agreed. So by the broad definition of terrorist, we could all be a terrorist. Wait, aren't we already all defined as enemy combatants in this country anyways?
Yeah, I think so.
I believe we are. So it's not much of a stretch.
Ooh, I got the FBI one right here. So let's go with the FBI one.
Ooh, because they're believable.
They know what they're doing.
Yeah.
All right. Ooh, shit, this is long.
That's what she said.
Not going there. All right, definition of terrorism in the U.S. Code. 18 U.S.C. weird sign 2331 defines international terrorism and domestic terrorism for the purpose of Chapter 113B of the Code entitled Terrorism. International terrorism means activities with the following three characteristics. Involve violent acts or acts dangerously to human life that violate federal or state law. Who does that every day? Government. Appear to be intended to intimidate or coerce a civilian population.
Wait. Let's work. Wait.
We're gonna chop this up.
I'm calling a physical timeout right now with the T signal. Wait, read that to me again.
It said it says appear to be intended. I don't know why they wrote it like this. To be intended to intimidate or coerce a civilian population.
Boy, that sure sounds like what comes out of DC, doesn't it? Like,
actually, no. It's not,
if you don't do this,
don't even go as far as
funding.
Don't even go as far as. Well, yeah, don't even go as far as the state stuff. Just look at the propaganda stations we got on TV.
Well, that's
like those that right under the definition.
Under the definition, Fox News Network needs to be brought to Guantanamo and waterboarded.
The whole network.
Yeah, every
the building too,
and the owner. Yep.
All right, and then it says 2, to influence a policy of government. Let's see, to influence the policy of a government by intimidation or coercion. It's funny, we do that out in the Middle East.
I was gonna say, isn't that our foreign policy right there?
I think so. I think I got the wrong definition. I think this should just say, like, what's our foreign policy? And the next one says to affect the conduct of a government by mass destruction, assassination, or kidnapping, and it doesn't have an and after that, but it says and. But right there, to affect the conduct of a government by mass destruction, assassination, or kidnapping. Well, NDAA ring a bell to anyone?
Afghanistan, Iraq.
Like, just for the last part, NDAA, like, they can kidnap whoever they want, black bag them, and put them in, a holding cell full of, mice and nothing else to eat.
Yep.
Indefinitely with no due process.
So,
until the war on terrorism, the arbitrary war on everything is over.
The war on terror. Well, that war will never be over, just like the war on drugs.
And we gotta have a positive war. Let's have a war on pizza, and we'll just hand out pizzas.
Well, pizzas are terrorists because they make you fat.
And they do.
They can if you're a lazy bastard and don't get out of your house.
I find myself sitting down eating a whole pizza by myself every now and then.
But hey, I do that.
I can't eat your pizzas, dude. Your pizzas I love your pizzas. Like, there's 2 slices and you're like laying on the couch going, oh man, it's like Thanksgiving dinner.
That's called food coma, and that's entirely different. But, so by the definition, everything that, I didn't, I figured out what the and means. Oh.
Okay. So I'm going to reread the one thing and I'm going to continue to the next thing. This is where they make it murky.
Ah.
Alright. So it goes to affect the conduct of a government by mass destruction, assassination, or kidnapping and occur primarily outside the territorial jurisdiction of the U.S. or transcend national boundaries in terms of the means by which they are accomplished. The persons they appeared intended to intimidate or coerce, or the locale in which their perpetrators operate or seek asylum.
Why is it only the U.S. in there? Or the United States? Like it says U.S., but it doesn't say anything about any other sovereign. Wait, none of us are sovereign.
Well, this is under international terrorism. I'm not even. Next one down is domestic terrorism.
Well then
we got. Like I said, there's a whole lot of. There's a whole lot of definition here.
Well, then maybe we should go to domestic terrorism.
All right, well,
I'm saying that, like, I feel that anything that we say and or do in a lot of our lives, we could be loosely classified as a terrorist. Mm-hmm. And subject to the same rules and harsh punishment and lack of a real life because they say we are terrorists. And I haven't done any terrorist acts in the last 10 years.
You probably did, but you didn't know it.
Oh, well, probably. I was just making a joke anyways.
You were, you convinced Rivet at the bar to give you another beer by, telling him it was subversive means. Yeah. You coerced him out of that free beer, dude. That right there.
You and I both know you can't coerce Rivet into doing anything that dude doesn't want to do. He's the terrorist because he coerces us with the free beers.
He's coercing our money. He's taking our money, so that's the whole point. All right, back to the definition on our Google Foo adventure. Domestic terrorism means activities with the following three characteristics. A, involve acts dangerous to human life that violates federal and state law. How shallow and pedantic.
Shallow and pedantic state laws. Yeah, I see.
I have no idea what that means. Okay. What is a law? No, anyway, I digress. And B, it says, appear intended to intimidate or coerce a civilian population. I always put that in there.
Wait, to intimidate or coerce
yeah.
a civilian population. Well, what in the WTF do they do to us every day? I would say that's coercion. You're bending my arm to do shit that I don't want to do. That's coercion. Would it not be?
You mean like those guys that have the shirts that say like IRS in the back and they have the gun on their hip?
Yes, with the those fake guys? Little tin badge that they can come. Yeah, those guys. Yeah.
And their badge number is KMA.
GFY.
I like KMA, but what's GFY?
I can't say it on the air.
Okay.
Most people should be able to logically put that together. And if you can't, well, email me.
Took me a second. My brain
email me and I'll clue you in.
You talking about something like go fudge yourself?
Yeah.
Some of that nature.
But I didn't say fudge.
I said I'm sure
dash. The coup de grace, if you will.
I like KMA to kiss my ass. But.
Yeah, well, no. I don't like to mince words. I like to just go right out and say it. Just
get it right out there. Don't even
so
have
no
confusion.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. All right. And the next one says influence the policy of a government by intimidation or coercion. This is all in the B section.
So lobbyists
right
by that definition, a lobbyist could be a terrorist.
K Street, I think that's what it is. K Street
yes,
in DC.
I believe so. So to influence
terrorist alley
to influence a government or its population. So that's a lobbyist. By that definition right there, a lobbyist is a terrorist.
And then if you go even further, because the lobbyists work for usually a corporation, then that makes the corporation a terrorist.
And
under the Citizens United, they are people, hence we can hang them as long as we put them in Texas.
Well, I was going to say they're not people per se, but they're enemy states. So I would view the people that work for a corporation as an enemy combatant and the corporation itself being a sovereign enemy state. So we should be able to just go take them out because they're a threat to our livelihood, safety, and well-being and life and pursuit of my American dream.
Put the hostile in hostile takeover?
Yeah, I suppose. I don't know. Yeah. I'm about to get hostile on a bunch of people. That's just what it's
going to start with Walmart.
Well, you know what? Walmart doesn't even bother me because you know what? You know what? There's so many dumb Americans out there that are willing to do all their lifelong shopping at a Walmart. That's the only store that they go to. You know, like when I was a kid, my mom would go to the bread thrift store to get all the bread and English muffins, donuts, and Twinkies that we used to eat as kids. Then the next day she would go, or a couple days later, she would go to the other store, which like sold all the good meat that we would eat. Like the hamburger. Well, there's not really. In the mid-'80s, you gotta remember, there's probably all sorts of bad bad stuff for us out there, which is why girls sprout boobs at 9 years old now.
And my brother did at like 10.
Right. So basically the whole point of this conversation being that corporations are enemy nations and their employees are enemy combatants, and you should be able to citizen arrest and or take them out to protect the sovereignty of our nation and of our own selves and self-preservation. Imagine that. I'm going to get in a lot of trouble for probably saying some of this stuff, but I don't really care.
We bring it on ourselves because we live in this fucking bullshit.
We bring it on ourselves because we're afraid to stand up and get out of the basement.
Exactly one of the problems that we have in this country is people don't want to stand up. If enough voices stood out and be like, this is just wrong. It doesn't matter if we agree on nothing. All we agree on is like, this is wrong. That's it. Stand out in the street and be like, no more. We're going to fix this now.
Let's look at that. Let's look at what you just said. If enough voices got together and said it. Okay, what happened in
Colorado? What's enough though? That's the point is what's enough?
Okay, what's enough? What did the state of Colorado just do?
With the legalizing marijuana?
Exactly. Their voices were enough, well, their votes, quote unquote, I guess, whatever. They passed legislation in that state to make it legal, right? And they made, like the state of Colorado made $375,000 in the first day. Okay. So, basing off of this logic of what we're building here, we're building our own little code here. We should be able to get all of us together and theoretically get something done. Theoretically, correct?
Theoretically, yes.
Okay. But what I see standing in the way are a bunch of terrorists, aka lobbyists, aka corporations, standing in our way, coercing us to buy their cheap shit, to eat their shitty food, to drive their shitty cars, and to live in their shittily constructed houses.
All the above fall apart.
Exactly. To live in their disposable society just for them to tell us what to do. I see a huge fucking problem here.
Me too, man.
I'm handing off to you for a minute.
All right, I'm going to go back to the definition. You can calm it down. You calm down here.
You're just going to incense me.
I know that's what's actually going to happen. I'm going to pretend it's going to calm me down. All right, the next part of the definition B says, to affect the conduct of a government by mass destruction, assassination, kidnapping, and occur primarily within the territorial jurisdiction of the U.S. So it's pretty much the same thing. There's not much difference between international and domestic terrorism on their description. This is right from FBI.gov. Like, this is right off their website, man. And like the next definition describes the term of a federal crime of terrorism as an offense that is calculated to influence or affect the conduct of a government by intimidation or coercion, or to retaliate against a government against government conduct. And I'm not gonna. I'll finish it off in a second here, but what that's saying is technically, by trying to wake people up, we're being told that we're influencing people as terrorists. And it really just bugs me that this whole definition, man, is just driving me crazy, because this literally says right here, why it says calculated to influence and affect the conduct of government by intimidation or coercion.
Lobbyist.
Well, yeah, that's the federal crime of terrorism as an offense that does this. And it just, even with us just trying to like get people to use that noodle between their ears, like, can be construed, because this is very, legalese can interpret shit the way they want, man. Mm-hmm. Like, it's so vague, and I love how vague laws are, because you can read into anything.
Exactly. It's called legalese. Legalese is like one of the worst things out there, because to understand legalese, to write legalese, you have to go spend years in a college. And, well, I mean, you don't have to. You can sit in a prison and read law books for your whole term, and then you can be versed on legalese. Mm-hmm. Because I don't know anybody else, unless they live in their mom's basement and sit on the computer all day, has the time to read legalese. I know you have to go out and work to pay for the rent on your land that you own, or myself. And
there's some air quotes going along with that own thing.
Lots of air quotes and lots of sarcasm in there. Okay, let's just put that out there too. I am under the belief that we don't have any other recourse. We have been backed into that. Remember we were talking about being painted into the corner sometime last week, whether Tuesday, Wednesday, I don't know, Thursday, sorry. Either Tuesday or Thursday. We've been painted into that corner, and from some things that I hear throughout the days, my weeks, and listening to quote unquote the regular people, we have been painted into that corner. We don't have a choice. So basically what I feel my choice is becoming down to is, how to put this delicately.
Rabbit badger?
What?
Rabbit badger?
I don't need no stinking badgers. I just need an ammo box full of ammo, really. I mean, like, we are there. Like, I mean, and if you think that we're not there, or if you think that, oh, we've got time to organize, we've got time to pull it together and pull this back from the brink, I'm sadly mistaken, and I'll wave to you from behind the other side of the chain link fence as I'm running by. Like, I'm not playing games with people no more. Like, this shit's gotta stop, man. Like,
we're past the point of no return.
we were past that a long
time. Yeah, when Coop died, that
was the point.
Just like he said that's what he said on his show. He goes, he was gonna go out, he's like, I'm going out with a fight no matter what. And when my battle ends, is what he says, when my battle ends, yours begins.
I haven't seen anybody pick up his battle. Nobody. And I'm challenging anybody that has anything to say about that to prove to me that they have picked up that mantle and that torch and is carrying it on. A. Jones would say he has, but he's an idiot. So
he's not. He convinces other people to do that iffy shit and get themselves locked up.
Right.
Well, and then doesn't care about them afterwards. He doesn't even talk about them anymore. You know?
Well, he's an idiot on one level, but wicked smart on it. He's kind of like W. W was an idiot, but he's wicked smart. Like, I don't care what you say. You have to be kind of smart to be in that position. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know Daddy eats money and all sorts of things put him there, but like, you got to be kind of smart to be in that position.
Well, he's got that half stupid evil bad guy smart going there.
Exactly. Well, it worked for him.
Of course, really, I'm pretty sure. You ever notice that Dick Cheney always walked behind him and he had his hands like crunched up?
Oh, yeah.
Kind of crunched up on his stomach. Like, he had a remote control. That's what he was doing. And it was buttons. It's just like, it had the 3 buttons. Stupid shit number 1, stupid shit number 2, terrorism was the 3rd one. Oh, there was a 4th one. He used it a lot, but they wore the button out. It's 9/11. It's 9/11.
Mission accomplished.
They wore that button right out, the first week.
You know what's funny about that whole mission accomplished thing? If you just look at those 2 words, their mission was accomplished.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they completely accomplished what they wanted to set out and do. And I'm going to define they as our controllers in power at the time. The group that was in control at the time. That was their little plan. And they accomplished it greatly. They mired us in a bunch of bullshit that's just draining lives, intelligence, and people. Oops, sorry, I didn't turn my phone down. It just mired us in a conflict for the next foreseeable future. Even though we're quote unquote out of that one, we're still in another. They did what they wanted to do,
right?
And
well, we're not anywhere near like where we're supposed to be with the mission. Like the initial event, we're still in the middle of it. We're still in Afghanistan. And so we after 9/11, we went to Afghanistan first. We decided that these people, these totally innocent people's homes and their children and grandparents and their whole livelihoods, they deserve to be blown up because of some guy that they said was in the caves in the mountains nearby. So they decided, instead of bombing the mountains and the caves, let's go bomb the residential areas because that's going to make the biggest point. Because there's going to be at least one person in those 45,000 people that knows where this one of the many bin Laden clones is.
This may be taken the wrong way, what I'm about to say.
Do you need to tell me first before?
Saddam was a patsy.
Oh, yeah.
Saddam was a patsy, just like Oswald was.
Well, just look at the picture of freaking Rumsfeld holding, like, shaking his hand, man.
Exactly.
Like, well, who's that dude that used to go on, Dave Chappelle's show he's Paul Rooney.
Paul Mooney.
Paul Mooney. Yeah,
yes.
Paul Mooney.
Yes.
Yeah, Paul Mooney, they did that, like, ask a black guy thing. Mm-hmm. And they did that little thing and one woman said, like, how do they know there was, weapons of mass destruction in Iraq? And he goes, well, because they hold the receipt.
That's true. That's exactly true. We just sold them a shit ton of attack helicopters too.
But they never had. The thing is, they never had any weapons of mass destruction. Well, not real, like what they were saying. Like they got a nuke and they got. It's like no, they don't.
What Syria has.
Like, Syria doesn't have anything.
Well, they have biologicals,
but then the rebels do, and they were given to them by us, or like sold to them, or through our allies. Yeah, right. Like it's all again. It's
convoluted.
Right back to that whole mire, the whole quagmire.
Okay, I'm gonna say this, and it's gonna. We are fucked. We are.
That's F-U-C-T, by the way. That's how you spell that. So it's grammatically correct.
We are so screwed at this point, and other than the small majority of people that hang out with us, like all 16 of them, like, you know, we're screwed. I know that we preach to the choir every week, twice a week, 6 to 8 on UCY, that we can sit here and bitch and moan. That's why it comes back to what I said a couple weeks ago, 2014, year of change. We need to do something instead of just sitting here running our gums and flapping our piss flaps. We need to do something. I don't know what. I have not the answers. I would be more than willing to sit down and converse with anybody who thought that they did. But it needs to be a collective effort, because I may not like dumb people from Texas, and I think they're still missing their village idiot, but some of those people might be useful. Like, the people in New Orleans might be useful. Like, the people in Florida might be useful. There's people everywhere that are useful to help further the cause. And I personally don't see anything happening. So, I mean, nobody wants to follow me. I'll tell you that right now. Like, nobody wants to follow me because basically I'm going to say free reign. Do whatever the hell you want because that's the way it should be.
No, there is one rule I found out over the years, James, with you.
Oh?
Don't grab his fork, man.
No, I have a special fork that I use, too. Don't touch my fork. Mine. It's long tine. It's perfectly weighted, and it's got a long handle. Okay? I don't like short forks. I don't like short tines. Give me my damn fork and we'll all be good. Nobody gets hurt.
I made the mistake of grabbing his fork once. That's when I learned about the fork rule.
One freaking rule in my house.
I had to sit on the porch with a dunce cap on for like an hour.
It wasn't an hour. It was only like 38 minutes. I felt bad. All right.
Yeah. At least it wasn't cold out.
Yeah, exactly. It was summer. You could still talk through the screen door.
Yeah, but the cats weren't talking back. That's what really irritated me. Anyway, as we digress, what you just said is a perfect segue to hopefully drag someone in from the interwebs to call in and like throw out what their version of what we're talking about would be pertinent to the conversation. I would like to hear from someone.
Somebody.
I
don't care.
I have no idea. Like, I don't care. Like, just call in.
Somebody new to call in.
I would. I'd like to hear a new voice. Someone that we don't hear much. Like, let's see, we have 17 people in chat right now, and we don't hear a whole lot from, Jax or, we have a new person, Hunt 1803. I've never heard from them. And Desert Hawk only once in a blue moon. So if anyone out there in Radioland wants to throw out some solutions or what their viewpoint on what we're talking about, or just tell us we're stupid, like either way.
Go ahead and tell us. We're not going to agree with you, but you can tell us.
Well,
you might want to give out the number though. They might not know the number.
Yes, that's a good idea. Should I give it out in code or should I do it in
do it for everybody else? Cause not everybody can read code.
Okay. And just to let everyone know, we come on air to entertain ourselves. You guys are just there to entertain us, especially with the chat. So the number is 718-717-8296. If someone wants to come in here and throw down some honest, well thought out
arguments or Or even agree.
Or even just a statement.
A statement. Anything. I'm putting the challenge out to anybody.
That's right.
Call up and argue with us. Let us know what you have to say.
And the first person to call gets a free bill from the government. I didn't send it to you, but they're going to send you one.
It's due by April 16th. Just so you know. Oh, I got to say, I love this shit. This is fun. Because, otherwise I might be a little more crazy than I am now if I had to keep all this inside.
It's thanks to Jules, we have a lot of good
Jules.
people that come on here and just have that ability to do what I do. Think aloud. Mm-hmm. And thinking aloud sometimes gets you in trouble, but you get it off your chest. I'm not expecting I expect no one to agree with me.
Nope.
That's what I'm used to. So if someone does agree with me, awesome, sweet. Right in the frickin', you put you on that top of that list for the Christmas card I never send out to anyone.
I'm on the top of that list, and I've known you almost 8 years and never have gotten even a Merry Christmas.
Well, we have a special friendship.
0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1,
right.
1, 1,
dot,
0,
dot,
1.
space, dot, 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 space, dot, space.
Just so you know, I'm going to clue everybody in to our private joke. Justyn we'll be texting, we'll be talking, whatever. And at the end of each conversation, Justyn says goodbye or piss off or whatever he's feeling like saying in Morse code, and I speak to him in digital code with lots of zeros and lots of ones that fill up like 3 or 4 texts. So that's the private joke, which we find funny. I know no one else cares. My wife thinks I'm an idiot. That's all right. It is what it is. We're amused. And that's, to me, is the biggest thing because everything else around me is shit. So this little bit of amusement that I get is funny and I enjoy it.
Looking for that little piece of something to make it worth going the next day.
Exactly.
Is what sequence of dots is Justyn gonna send to me tonight? And how am I gonna interpret that dot sequence?
It's always open to interpretation too.
It's almost like digital legalese.
It is digital legalese.
You can interpret it however you want. I could say something nice or horribly bad, or I could insult your mom. Either way, you read it to yourself. Like, I just put dots in there, dude.
I get my own. I infer my own definition from what you read. But speaking of definitions, that definition of terrorism is very loose and very broad and very gray. So that
kind of like a prostitute.
Wow, you just had to throw that out.
Had to.
Didn't you? All right.
Well,
so, yes.
Going back to the beginning,
back to the beginning where you can come to Vermont and get your free happy ending.
That's right.
For your $900 massage. Don't forget your maple syrup scented knee pads on the way out. Go home. Come here, spend your money, and then go home.
Oh, dude, Mike's talking to you, man. What's he saying?
Really, Mike? Really? I mean, come on, SLC. You have to be like that. I mean, wow. That's kind of harsh, my friend.
Oh, I just noticed Mr. Cracker wants to be dragged in. Okay. I will be dragging you in shortly, Mr. Cracker, so let me,
Yes, the truth hurts, but more and more people on the daily need to hear the truth. Not that I'm speaking any sort of truth that other than the truth to me, because the truth is...
Well, the truth is defined by each and every one of us individually.
Exactly, and if your truth aligns with my truth, then so be it.
Where is he? There he is. We're going to drag in Mr. Cracker kicking and screaming.
Sweet.
All right. Here we go. Drag. Sorry.
Jeopardy music, dude. Jeopardy music.
I can't do that. I always do the circus music because this is a circus we live in.
This is a circus.
It's a big circus. Hey, Mr. Cracker.
Hey, bud. How you doing?
Hey, man.
Let me get this video, this noise shut off.
I hope it's not me. I can be quiet if you need me to.
No, I had the show going too, and I had if both of them start coming through on the headset.
Ah, I see. So it was me.
I got it all under control now.
So
I hear what you guys are talking about, and you know where my head lies. So I'm going to ask you a question.
All right.
What physically? What do you see our alternatives are? You say everybody's got to get off their ass and do something.
Well, yeah.
Okay. Tell me what that is. Explain that. Put something to that everybody out here can do.
You can't call into my show and repeat the same question to me that I put out the chat, dude.
Well, you haven't put out what you think they can be doing either.
All right, no,
I damn sure do.
That's my show, man.
This is my thing. I'll give you that, Cracker.
Okay, well then I'm calling in and I'm asking you a question.
Good for you. Good for you.
You got an answer for it?
I do. It may
Lay
not.
it on me. I'm all ears.
Because this whole get off your ass thing has been my little mantra this year.
I hear a guy on Orion doing the same damn thing. I hear a bunch of guys doing the same thing, but I don't see any of them really. They're either telling you to go call your damn local representative or go stand on a freaking overpass and freeze your balls off with a sign out there that says impeach Obama, which is just absolute bullshit. He ain't going anywhere.
Nope.
We stuck with Biden. It'd be just as bad.
Well, and then you got Pelosi under that. I mean, that's what I'm saying. What can be done? As far as this Cracker's concerned, there's only one thing that can be done.
And I think I agree with what Cracker had.
I'm just sitting back. Sooner or later, when they get ready for this to happen, we don't have a dog in this hunt. What we can do is come online and do just exactly what we're doing. And we can get all the information that we can get. We can go out in this world and we can meet other people and we can talk to them. We can try to explain to them what's going on. We can at least tell them. And, when they don't believe you the first year, after they've listened to you for a little while, they start seeing some of these things that you're saying to them. I have a lot of people that listen to me now that 10 years ago, 15 years ago, I didn't. And it's because the things that I've told them they thought I was crazy as hell about has come to pass. So, come on. If I tell you this, and you see it happen, and I tell you this, and at the time that I'm telling you this, you think that I'm crazy, and a year later, oh my God, there it is. It's happened. I mean, that's one of the things that we can do, but just like what I tell, just like what else I say, look, what if everybody in this country, every living, breathing human being alive, was to wake up in the morning fully informed and knows exactly what's going on? Still, what can they do working within this system, which is corrupt and rotten from the top to the bottom? It makes kimchi look like fresh vegetables. There is no working in this system.
Well, no, okay, no, you're wrong a little bit wrong. Okay, within the system, let me just get this out there, Mr. Cracker, just give me a quick second. Within the system, what we can use under our Second Amendment right is that every county forms a militia for the protection of that county.
Okay.
That'll be step one. I'm not talking storming any barricades right now. I'm talking like some shit inside the system. That's inside the system.
Do you see this happening?
No.
I agree with you. Okay. So
we can come on with hypothetical situations that we could do that we both know is not going to happen.
Okay, here's because this has been more my thing than Justin's thing. Let me just put that out there now that I want to see more action, less talk. Like my thing is civil disobedience in any way, shape, or form that does not get you in serious trouble, because you're gonna have some sort of trouble. But like what if every person, let's just say on April 17th, the day after taxes are due, every person in this country said, or every person along our lines of thought said, we're not paying our taxes, we're not filing taxes, we're not doing that this year. Okay, every person. Don't you think they would stand up and notice at that point? Because that would have to be at least a couple of million people in this country that they were not stealing.
I hear you talking. There's another guy on Orion that's saying the exact same thing that you're saying. Mm-hmm. Only he's called for a date just like right after the tax date. Exactly what you're saying. I don't know if you know who I'm talking about.
I don't.
No, we don't.
Well, he does, and that's what he's been preaching.
Okay.
And I tell him the same thing. Can you honestly see that happen? And what he even goes a step farther. He says, "Tell you what," he said, "what we do is we stop paying taxes, and then the first day the first week on that Friday, nobody goes to work." And he said, then we give that a month, and he said, then if that doesn't work, he says the next month, then Thursday and Friday we don't go to work. And then if that doesn't work, then we go Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday and don't go to work. And the only thing that I can see happening with that is if somebody was to do that, first place, you go to your employer and you tell him to stop taking taxes out on you. You think he's going to do that?
No.
No, but you can.
Okay. The answer to that is no. Let me finish.
Okay.
The answer to that is I'll shut up and let you say whatever you want to say. But the answer to that is no. That's not going to happen. And the other thing is, when people start missing work like that, with as many people out there that are out of work, you know what is going to happen? They're going to lose their job, and somebody else is going to take it. So all these damn solutions we're coming up with. It's like you're playing chess with somebody that has already got the game rigged and told you where you're moving your pieces is
playing chess against the board.
You're wrong. It ain't going to happen, man. I mean, there's only one thing that's ever going to fix this mess, and if you don't like it, then you don't have to listen to me. But I've been saying the same thing for many, many, many years, and I have yet to see anybody that can prove me wrong. Until this country has another full-fledged armed fucking revolution, there isn't a single solitary thing that means anything that's ever going to change. They're stripping our military. They're doing what they want to overseas. They're ignoring us. We have constitutional sheriffs right here in this country right now that have went in and told them, look, we're not going to do this shit. We're not going to play this damn game with you. You come to our county. This isn't going to fly. And they simply wrote him a little letter back and told him, well, that's all fine and dandy, because if you don't do what we tell you to do, you will be replaced, and we'll replace you with the Department of Homeland Security personnel.
Right, but
so you want to tell me we got a dog in this hunt? You're dreaming.
All right, so pretty much what you're saying, Howells, we're screwed no matter what, even with your solution.
No, we're not. When enough people say, okay, enough of this shit, you guys want to fight? Let's fight. When they start dying like they're killing us, then you'll see some real shit come out. And until then, there's people that are just sitting back waiting on that. And I'm telling you, you might think, oh, Americans are pussies, they ain't going to do that. I got news for you, my friend. There's a lot of people out here that are willing to fight and die for this country. Lots of us. And most of us out here that are really willing to do that are veterans. That's why they hate us so much. We know how absolutely filthy and corrupt they are. We know what a bunch of psychopaths. They're pathological liars. The truth never comes out. When anything happens in the military, when you're in the military and there's an accident, I don't care what it is, the first thing they do, they're not interested in what actually happened. What they're interested in is what they're going to present to the public.
They're interested in how they're going to spin it. And I agree with you. I agree with you. Honestly, like, you're one of the few people that I've heard that I will actually agree with damn near 100% on. I've been loath to say it out loud, but you're right. You know what? Full on armed revolution is about the only way that we're going to come about a serious, real change in this country. Like, serious, real change. Like, that's about it. But I would hope that the American people would have more wherewithal within them to try and do it some way else other than killing our brothers. Wait. I gave you your chance. I gave you a chance. Hold on. Just let me just spew out what's in my head. The American people, I would imagine, are loath to kill their brothers, their sisters, because we're all brothers and sisters in this world. Whatever, no matter what you believe, we're all interrelated somehow, some way, because we all came from some small cesspool somewhere. So, armed open revolution is basically what I keep coming back to as my fallback as, okay, if this all fails, then guess what we have? Armed revolution. And I am more than goddamn ready to hold my gun and stand up for what I believe in and stand with my brothers in arms in my state and my country to defend what is ours. But in the end, don't see it really being ours anymore. It's theirs, and we have to take it back. And in any way we can start to do that. Like, I keep saying, let's do something, let's change this. I don't know how it's going to get changed. I don't have the answers, which is why I keep putting this out there. And my thing is like, you have to begin somewhere. So if that guy on Orion radio, like, keeps spouting it, then fine. Like, maybe enough people will get to it. Like, there are ways to not have them take taxes out of you. There are ways to do some of this stuff, but in the end, they get you in the end. They'll backdoor you, basically. So, other than, because I agree with you, and I agree with you 100%, that's one of the only options I really see left is full-on armed revolution. But other than that, I would like to see...
How would that start? That would start locally with local militias.
I'll tell you something else. I think when they want that to start, you look at what they've done.
Exactly. When they want it to start, it'll start.
They've armed the IRS. They've armed everybody. They've armed everybody but the damn library. They bought all the weapons. They're giving the sheriffs MRAPs now. Department of Homeland Security last year bought 2,700 new ones. Now, bear this in mind. Department of Homeland Security bought 2,700 new ones, and they're bringing them back from overseas, but they couldn't give those to the Department of Homeland Security. Oh, hell no. They got to go pay $500,000 and $600,000 a piece for these things. Now they're bringing the ones from overseas back, washing them up real good and selling them to the police departments or the sheriff's departments here for $2,000 to $3,000 a piece.
We have three.
So what they are preparing for what they're going to do. You don't have to worry about starting a thing. When they get ready to start this, they're going to start it. Yeah, everybody wants to talk about false flags. You know, this was a false flag. That was a false flag. Well, what do you think they're going to do when they want to get this show on the road? They're going to do it exactly like they do everything else. They're going to make it look like somebody else started it. And you know who was really great at that was the Mossad. If the Mossad did their job right, they had the operation done, finished, the people dead, whatever they were trying to do taken care of, and then planted shit there to make it look like somebody else did it. And that's exactly what these pukes are going to do. You think we're the ones that's got to start this. Man, let me tell you what, you need to wake the hell up. We ain't got to start nothing. These guys have armed themselves to the teeth, and they haven't done it just for kicks.
Are you saying they already started it? Is what you're saying?
Well, goddamn, two cops beat a homeless guy completely to death. They got it on tape. They look at the guy, and then the cop gets off. When the cop gets off, he's actually got the balls to go back to the city and say, "Hey, mothers, I want my job back."
Yep, you're exactly right. So
have they started it? Can you
yep.
pull over? Can they pull you over on the side of the road and try to take a DNA test from you when you've done absolutely nothing? When a filthy fucking pig rolls up behind you and sits in his car and you haven't done a single solitary thing wrong, he starts running your damn tag through just trying to find something that he could pull you over and pork you with. This country is toast until people get off their dead ass and are willing to die for it, because we don't own this country no more.
That's what I've been saying.
We don't even own a little bitty part of this country. We don't have a dog in the hunt. We are the dogs, and I'm telling you what, they're either going to kill the dogs or the dogs are going to who let the dogs out.
So what you're saying is a whole lot of this and going sound effect style.
a whole lot of rack in the chamber. I agree with you, man. I agree with you.
Good point.
You made your point well, and I would say that I for myself agree. I would just hope that there is somehow some other way to do that, but I don't.
I hope that too.
I don't see it though.
I don't want to see. Just like what you say, I don't want to look out there and see my neighbors laying dead in the street. I don't want to see that. But you know what? If I do see my neighbors laying dead in the street, I want to see them laying dead in the street after they've been shot, fighting. I don't want to see them just to roll over and play dead.
Or be
and there's going to be a whole bunch of people that are going to roll over and play dead. But I'm telling you what, man, the American public haven't armed themselves like they've armed themselves now to roll over and play dead or wait till some asshole passes a law that says you can't have this, you can't have that. I got news for them sons of bitches right now. Every single thing I got, I'm keeping.
You damn right.
If they want it, come and get it.
Yep, that's it.
Cold dead fingers.
Cold dead fingers. Like, that's it.
Charleston Heston, I think he had a good point.
He had an excellent point. Like,
and I'm telling you what, that shill bastard Wayne LaPierre they got in there now makes me want to puke.
rolling over on certain laws that's.
I can't stand his announcements on RBN.
I hate him.
He just like, oh, well, we got constitutional people like Ted Cruz in there. It's like,
boy, that really makes me feel good.
Ted Cruz is all about self-serving politics. That's not. So you brought up some good points, Cracker. That like.
All right, well, I hope I help.
And I appreciate it because like you're the only one that's called in so far that I've been screaming this. That like has anything to say about it. Like
I didn't want to call in and disrupt your show.
No.
I say that I have the same thing to say all the time, and just like I said, but prove me wrong. If I'm wrong, prove me wrong.
Exactly.
I've been looking at this for a long time, and I don't see where I'm wrong.
I know I'm not of the same age bracket as you are, Cracker, but like we are like one and the same of like.
I think we are too.
I
definitely believe that.
I would like to see it go another way, but that's why I've been screaming 2014 year of change. Let's do something. Let's try and do something. If we try and do something and it fails, well, that just limits our options and knows where we have to go. And you're right.
Justyn, I can tell you something right now. When the people that are my age, guys, I'm going to say from 50 back, guys that are 50 years old and older, we, growing up as children, we at least got to experience a little bit of freedom. And I mean, we really did. When I was a kid growing up, I wanted to go hunt, and I walked out my door, and that was that. That was it. You know, and fishing, there was no fishing lines, no hunting lines. There was none of this absolutely stuff that's designed to extract money from the population. There was none of that in my life. Most people that are not that are younger than 50 years old, they didn't really experience hardly any of that. And the ones that are 30 years old, the freedom that I experienced growing up and the freedom that you have experienced in your lifetime, if you grew up when I did, you wouldn't even recognize this country. That's the difference. That
is an excellent point, because we've talked about that on the show, that it's only been a number of years that we've been so limited in our freedoms of what we can and cannot do. It's, you know, where we live, it's a
little behind the times.
A little behind the times, but
that's beautiful, man. That's great that you say that.
But we're still all caught up. Yeah, we are way caught up. Like, we are not that far behind here. Yep. So, but you are, I applaud you, Cracker, for being honest. And I applaud you for sticking to your guns of what you've been saying for years, because they're all truisms. They're all very true. And unless something is done, and like, you know, I don't have any answers. Like, you know, I'm a pothead beer drinking dude from Vermont. Like, I don't have answers, but what I do have is the will to change. And, you know, that's where I think we all need to be. We all need to be here and very aware of our current situations to move on and move forward. And, you know, in a lot of ways, there's not going to be any change until Civil War II happens.
Well, all I am is a cracker from Florida, and when this shit starts, it's going to be game on. I mean, I don't know any other way to look at it.
Yeah, you're right on though, man. Like, don't knock yourself. Don't. And I know you probably don't. Don't, just keep on keeping on and doing what you're doing, because eventually we will be heard, and eventually
we will.
And eventually the tide will turn. It's just a matter of how that tide turns, whether it's armed revolution that sweeps the country from the south to the north, to the east to the west, west to east, however it goes down.
I call that a spark. Whatever the spark is going to be. And we don't know what the spark is going to be, but I think they will be the one that ignites the spark.
Well, of course, because they think they believe in what they have built and the moves that they've been putting in place since the late 60s, early 70s, that it's theirs to win. You know, it's like
and it's our dollars that's paying for it. That's the part that really.
Well, exactly. We're paying to screw ourselves. So
yes, sir. We're paying for our own demise.
Exactly. It's like the football team that goes into a game way overconfident and loses to the shittiest team in the league. Like, that's what they're viewing us as. They're the number one team. We're the shittiest team. And guess what? This is going to be a cream puff game for us. But I don't think it's going to be such a cream puff game. I think they underestimate us. And
I think one of the biggest mistakes that Obama did was when he started purging his military. You want to tell me those guys that are getting out of the military are going to be happy with what's taking place? Mm-mm. I mean, he's playing by the rules that he's told to play by.
Exactly.
But I'm telling you what, he's pissing a lot of people off.
Well,
I go. Let me tell you something. I go to the VA, and I'm a vet, and I go out to the VA, and just like what I think I told you, the last time I went to the VA, I was in there, and all of them there. I mean, I talk to them just like I'm talking to you. So they all know where my head's at, and they absolutely hate Obama. And the last time I was out there, a nurse practitioner, after she got through checking me out, I went out there for some issues I've been having. She finished checking me out, and she said, "Close the door." I said, "Close the door." I said, "Close the door." So I closed the door, and she looks at me and she said, "Do you know what's going on?" I said, I presume you're not talking about with me right now. She said, no, I'm not talking about with you right now at all. She said, do you know what's going on? I said, yeah, I got a real good idea what's going on. She says, man, you don't know the half of it. So she lights into me and tells me and this was her own, I did not ask her for this. This is what she told me. She said that Obama is wanting the Veterans Administration to claim all the guys that are coming back from the Middle East to have post-traumatic stress disorder. And the way he's going about doing it is they had something there that was called Manic Monday. She said, you know what Manic Monday is? And I said, I said, no, I don't. And she said, I know Manic Monday. She said, well, let me tell you what Manic Monday is in the military. She said, Manic Monday, she said, that's when they go out, and before the guys go out on maneuver, she said, you know, when a guy's been over there for 2 or 3 tours, she said, he's seen a lot of people get killed. He's killed a lot of people, and he's seen a lot of people get killed. A lot of these people been killed has been his friends. And a lot of these IUDs have blown vehicles up right in front of him. He's lucky enough not to have that happen. She said what they do is they go out on Monday morning and they pass SSRIs, which are psychotropic drugs. They pass them out. They just go around and say, here, take this, take this, take this. Obama found out that they were doing that. And the way the military works, if you have taken psychotropic drugs while you were in the military, they can say that you have post-traumatic stress disorder, and that's why you were taking those drugs. Well, these guys ain't asked for those drugs. These were being passed out like candy. And so he found out about it. Now what he's wanting them to do is to come down on these guys. And she's saying they're not doing it. So now what he's doing, they've got most of these hospitals are around what in the world do you call it? In the cancer center here, we have Moffitt Cancer Center, which is a civilian-run thing. Well, the Moffitt Cancer Center works with the cancer center. Well, they're doing the same thing with the shrinks. They're having outside shrinks come in to the VA and work with the VA. And so if the VA won't do it, they will do it. And that's what she was so pissed off. She was spitting nails, man. I told her, I said, I ain't gonna tell you what her name is. I said, look, I said, chill out. And I said, settle down. I said, you're really getting upset about this. She says, listen, there's things I can't tell you. And I said, well, I said, I go on radio shows and I said, I'm going to put this out. She said, that's why I'm telling you. She said, and let me tell you something else. She said, I believe that in the next 2 years that this country will be in an armed revolution. And that come out of her mouth. And I looked at her and I said, really? And she said, what else is going to change things? And I said, absolutely nothing. I said, they're not going to get my weapons from me. She said, and I'm telling you what, VA ain't going to take them either.
Nope. But
they hate that. They hate that bastard. They hate this government. Can you imagine trying to work and trying to do at least a semi-decent job?
I couldn't imagine being a civil servant in this country. I couldn't imagine that. Like, there's no way. And because there are people that believe in the system that want to try and do good with the system, and they're semi-misguided, and I will fully support somebody that wants to try and use the system to do good, but the system isn't designed for that anymore. And something else I've heard is, I watch a lot of YouTube videos, and there's this guy named the Main Prepper. He's a pretty good dude. I like a lot of what
I know you're talking about.
And he just put out a video, I don't know, it's probably about 3 weeks ago now, where the VA is stripping the veterans of their benefits now, of like their monetary benefits, which, they're cutting those benefits and taking them away and restricting VA visits and this, that, and the other.
Yeah, the federal arm that's up there where the rest of those traitors are is the ones that's doing that.
Right, exactly.
The ones that are on the ground where I'm talking about, these guys are trying to figure out ways to get around what this bastard's doing. And I'm serious. I'm talking for health care, though. I'm not talking about, that's a VA benefit.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a VA benefit. But there's a lot of people that are on
that.
Yes, exactly.
I just think.
Oh, it's a mess. It's a mess.
It's a mess. It doesn't matter what system you look at. It doesn't matter if you're in the VA system. It doesn't matter if you're in the healthcare system. It doesn't matter if you're in the educational system. Every system that we have, quote unquote, set up in this country is designed to screw us, and it's corrupt from top to bottom, and they're designed, and then you have all these people that enter these systems trying to do good with, wholeheartedly good intentions. And guess what happens to those people? They get chewed up, spit out, stomped out, spit at.
They're not a game player. They're not in the system for long.
Exactly. They go into the private sector where they can make money, because that's what they're trying to push, is make money, make money, make money, make money. Like, that's it.
Kids, this ain't a game anymore.
No, it hasn't been a game for probably since the mid-'80s when the D-bag in the office then was screwing us because honestly, from my point of view, and I'm only 38, and I admit that's young to a lot of people out there, but I don't give a shit. Like, I've seen some shit in my 38 years that, you know, it all started back in the early 80s when, like, or actually back in the 70s, but in the early 80s when Reagan took office and started deregulating everything. That's when a lot of this shit started to come down the pike, and they realized they had an open door, the floodgates were open, let us rape the country, and get away with it, basically. They raped us and are raping us, and are getting away with it because we're too scared to stand up and report that crime. Sort of like the sexual assaults in the military right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like you wonder why there ain't no good cop stepping up, because if a good cop was to step up, something bad could happen to him or members of his family. I'm convinced of that too. It's just nasty now, just like this NSA snooping on everybody. You know damn well NSA's got so much dirt on those people that it would just freak you out if you knew what it was.
So it looks like we have another caller that just called in.
Yeah, who do we got there on the line with us?
Hi, my name is Scott.
Hey, Scott.
How's it going?
Oh, not bad, dude. Hey, how'd you find your way over here to UCY, man?
I have a friend who's over there, and I figured I'd give a quick shout-out real quick and say hi.
Oh, awesome, Scott. So, what did you want to add to the conversation, dude?
To be honest, I wasn't actually listening to the conversation. I just want to call in and pop in randomly.
Oh, sweet. Is there anything you'd like to say on Worldwide Radio Web?
Hi to all of you, and I'm glad you guys are doing this. From what I've heard, it's an amazing broadcast.
Well, thanks, man. We just, we usually just get pissed off and go with that. So,
what's your current topic, NSA?
Well, we're
talking about how the government is about ready to drop the bomb on us and start the revolution for us, so that we don't have to start it, and basically all the other ways that we're getting screwed by our quote unquote, I don't know, string holders.
Well, here, I got one for you. Have you guys covered the drones recently in America?
Nope.
I mean, we're all familiar with the drone strikes they've been doing overseas, where, everyone's kind of unhappy with the idea that we send these drones out and we're killing people kind of semi-indiscriminately.
Well, I haven't heard of any local/domestic drone strikes, so fill me in, dude.
Of course, there are no local or domestic ones, but they're talking about expanding those drone programs in the U.S. I mean, to actually have flyovers.
Well, yeah, because that adds to the surveillance machine, man. They got to have that surveillance machine down so they know what everyone's doing, And
they're not going to drop a bomb in America with a drone, because every third person has a cell phone camera that can record that and show it to YouTube, et cetera, et cetera. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I mean, how happy are we with the idea that there's going to be drones just flying over our backyard, taking pictures of our barbecues and stuff?
Well, the drones can be used for so many other things than just seeing what we're doing. They can use them for the IRS and see, oh, well, you seem to have claimed you didn't really work all that much last year, but you got a, brand new car in your front yard. We've seen you driving it, like the drones can be used for so many different things. And it's really sad that, like, so many people are brainwashed enough to think that, like, the drone issue is not an issue. It's just an extension of see something, say something. Now we don't have to say anything because they already saw.
It's 1984.
But hey, at least we can all sleep very well at night and wake up happy and alert knowing that Amazon is going to be dropping those drone packages on us soon.
Happy and alert that we all know that our government is watching us for our own protection, to keep us safe from our own domestic terrorists, which are ourselves.
You are free to do what we say.
According to the definition we read earlier, the term of domestic terrorist, I feel that every one of us here that's online right now, that's listening to us, is a domestic terrorist because you're listening to this.
I hope they label me as that, because if they was to label me as one of those, I would have to go in the bathtub and take a razor blade and just start cutting. You know what I mean? I could not live with that.
Well,
I could live with being a gay transgendered transvestite, but to be one of them, I don't think I could handle it.
It's. I don't know. It's just.
I don't know, man. To each their own, Cracker.
Hey, to be honest, I'll give up some of my freedom to get my Amazon package one day earlier.
I sense some sarcasm there, but I know you're basically stating a fact or a mode of thought that a lot of people in this country would have. Like, I will give that up just to feel safer, just to get my package a day earlier. Like,
exactly. You almost have to wonder if Amazon isn't in some kind of cahoots where they're actually trying to desensitize us by saying, hey, drones aren't so bad. They get you your fucking Burke Wonderstone DVD one day earlier.
I'm willing to bet you a Guinness burger that is a true statement right there.
And I would be willing to fill that bet.
Hey, if they're going to go that far, what's to say they're not going to have cameras on those little drones when they come up to your house?
Well, they have to.
And then they
would have to.
Yeah, they would have to have cameras.
They would have to have a GPS for it. But listen, I'm going to take it one step farther. What if they were to say, well, what if you're not home? We wouldn't have any place to put the package. So what we're going to do on all the modern houses, we're going to put little ports in the roof or in the up high with a place where the drone can actually just come in, and they're going to be able to, how you can use your cell phone. They got these deals where you can lock and unlock your car door and lock and unlock your house at home. Yep. But we're going to have a little port that the guy can just come in and deliver your package. It'll be sitting on your shelf when you get home. What kind of a deal is that?
I agree with Ghost of Jimmy. If you are not on a government watch list, you should be ashamed of yourself.
You're just doing something wrong.
That's right, Jimmy. That's right.
That's right. I agree with that statement a whole lot. Basically we're all in agreement in the fact that we're screwed. We're all in agreement that it's going to come down to the worst end of that stick, and they're going to try to give us the worst end of that stick. So it's a matter of trying to head that off before it happens. And if it comes down to that and it happens, guess what? I know I'm ready. I hope there's others out there ready. I hope I don't find myself out there with my penis in hand, so to speak. To be clear.
Is that your preparedness readiness device?
No, I'm just saying, I just don't want to get caught in the wind. That's all. That's all I'm saying. I don't want to be out there all by myself.
He doesn't want to get all Pee Wee Hermaned.
Yeah, exactly. Let's all look to Pee Wee for a
You're not going to be sitting in your front. You're not going to be sitting in your front yard in a big comfy chair.
I might be, but there's going to be a lot of steel around me.
It might have about 3-inch steel all around it. I'll be all right.
Campfire and some marshmallows.
Some Sally Ports. I'll be all right.
We'll be good.
But this is a really good conversation because I'm liking where this is going. It's like we're putting stuff out there, and it's like, let us all think about that. That's my whole point of the 2014 year being the year of change. Let us put some ideas out there. Let us get stuff going, because if we keep preaching the gloom and doom, which is inevitable in my eyes, just my personal view, then maybe somebody somewhere will say, well, I have an idea, and they'll step up and implement that. Or someone else, or a group of people will stand up and implement an idea. I don't see it happening. Or if it does happen and it's allowed to happen, that it doesn't get very far, just like everything else in this country. To me, I equate what we believe in to what they dealt with in the 1960s, or basically 1969. Hunter S. Thompson put it in a way that I agree with. If you look far enough from a hillside in Vegas, you can see where the tide fell and turned back, which was, the summer of love, the summer of this, summer of that, that era of people, they had all the power. They had all the momentum. And what happened to them? They fell apart and faded back into obscurity. And now it's looked down upon with deference and remembrance of oh, that was a great time in our history. No, not really, because it didn't accomplish enough.
Well, to step up and do something. Liza Jean put that thing about the 82 or 83-year-old nun that broke into the nuclear plant.
Yep.
They shouldn't be doing anything to that woman. What they're upset with is she pointed out how lax their system really is.
Yep.
and she made them look like fools. So they're going to burn this old lady for that. Mm-hmm. So what's wrong with that? Don't you think they should be going after the ones that were supposed to be taking care and watching that thing? They're the ones whose asses should be on the line, not hers.
You would think.
God, no, they always go after the whistleblower first.
No question
Never
about
the
it.
person
That's
who's
so
responsible.
No, hell no,
Blame the
not at all. That's like, if
Blame
you're not a
the
team player,
whistleblower.
if you're not a team player on one of those with that, then you got a real problem going on. So they're the ones that are going to force the hand. And when it goes down, it's going to be decision-making time for everybody.
What side of the fence are you going to be on? You're going to be on the inside, getting fed your government, injected
government cheese,
government injected or government food with injected antibiotics and extra fat to make you an obese person, or
I tell you what, I'm going to be. I know what side I'm going to be on. I'm going to probably be on the dying side.
More than likely.
You know what? If that's okay, I'm good with that. I don't have a problem with that at all. But I'll tell you what, I might be on the dying side, but I'm damn sure going to take a bunch of those. I'm going to load the bus up, buddy.
Let me ask you something, Cracker. As a veteran, were you ever asked the question if you were willing to fire on American citizens?
Oh hell no, not okay. When I was in, but that was a long time ago. But that was question 46. You guys can Google that. Question 46 is pretty damn good.
Right.
But no, hell no. They didn't say that. I mean, there was a lot of graft and corruption and shit going on when I was in, but not like what you see now. What we see when these guys started going over to the Middle East, I told everybody right then, I said, well, that's their training to go door to door here. What? I said, they're trained. That's what they're sending these guys over there. They're teaching them how to do this. They're sending them to another place so they'll learn how to do this. That way they can come back home and do it. And what do we have happening? We got the military working with the sheriffs. We got DHS working with the sheriffs. The sheriffs right here in this county that I live in. There's a big DHS facility, and the TSA calls the cops. The sheriff comes and takes and puts you to jail. If DHS calls the cops, normally they don't have to call the cops or call the sheriffs because on their operations here in the city, the sheriffs are part of it. Yep. So I mean, there's not being a line blurred. They're homogenizing the whole damn thing.
That's a good way to put that. They're homogenizing that line of
that's what they're doing.
It's okay to do this. It's
right because they said it was. See, I'm following orders. This is what they told me to do. Maybe you should go home and read the Constitution. How some of these sheriffs can go home and look at their wife and their children in the face is beyond me.
How many of those sheriffs are actually literate, though? Like, honestly, no, I know that they are. But I'm just being a wise ass. But at the same time, they're not looking at it as that. They're looking at it as.
I'll tell you what, they're not looking for the cream of the crop. They're not looking for the cream of the crop. They're looking for somebody who'll do what they're told.
They're looking at it as like a Walmart employee would. Well, I'm lucky to have a job. I'm lucky to be gainfully employed, so I'm not going to rock the boat. Like that's
bingo.
That's the whole.
So where are all these damn good cops that I keep hearing about? I keep hearing about them, man. And where are they?
They're few and far between, and when they get found out that they're a good cop, guess what? They get forced out of the force. Like they're forced out.
They're shoved behind the desk.
Right. They're put on.
What they do is those are the sacrificial pigs. You see, those are ones that you get to see on the news that they caught that was doing this or caught doing that. I tell you what, they sweep so much stuff under the rug. It's not even funny. Just imagine. You know what we hear that goes on in the sheriff's departments and the police departments. What we hear.
Well, exactly.
Can you imagine how much we don't hear?
Oh, and I can't imagine how much we don't hear from all sorts of different sources. But cops being like, we'll say the closest to each and every individual. Each county sheriff, each local cop probably has something that didn't make the police blotter, didn't make this, didn't make that.
Can't get through the bank, buddy.
Oh, I'm
absolutely believe that.
Quite sure.
Cops party with cops.
Well, yeah, duh. I mean, and firefighters and other guys, but
well, it's all part. They're all part of the clan there,
right? The brotherhood of protection and to serve and protect, to serve and disrespect the general public. Like, it's all just they're a finger on the end of the hand, on the end of the arm of the people in power that will control all of this shit. So in the end, like we said earlier on this conversation, we are absolutely fucked. And there is not much that we can do about it except for when it comes to our front door. And what are you going to do about it when it comes to your front door?
Well, it's coming to a neighborhood near you soon.
Along with your superhero, your neighborhood superhero.
Hey, I'm Blank Man. I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm Mr. Angry Asian.
We don't need no stinking Tweety.
I don't need no Tweeties. What is a Tweety? A treaty is something that screws the next person. That's what a treaty is. But anyways.
To fleece and fornicate. That's what they're there for.
I like that line. That's pretty good. In the end, I hope, we hit on this earlier. I hope that there's another way. But me personally, my own beliefs, I don't think that there is another way. Like it's gonna hit the fan, and it's gonna be messy, and it's gonna be bad, and it's gonna go on for a long time.
Yeah,
probably a little bit sooner than later.
We look at what's going on here in this country, and then we go and we look at what's going on in a bunch of other countries. There's a lot of people that are very unhappy, and this could get nasty. Not just here; it could get nasty all over the damn.
Well,
people are tired of, you back somebody up against the wall, they're either going to stand there and get shot, or they're going to come off that wall like a wild man.
Well, what happens when you back a dog up against the wall? A dog
will bite you.
Exactly. Any animal, really.
But along those lines, at the same time, I mean, all these revolutions in all these other countries, all the horrible stuff that's happening. You got to look at our country and think about how the average American, no matter how bad it gets, even during the downturn in our economy, they just don't seem to react the way other countries do. And it's because we have it too comfy here. Like, how are you going to have a new depression happen in this country when we just went through what was almost the next Great Depression? And
we went through.
Oh my God!
What reality do you live in, dude?
It's still here, man.
Like, it's still pretty thick at my house.
Yeah, it is. But at the same time, like Great Depression, people eating potatoes. Great Depression of 2009, people buying flat screen TVs and PS4s and 3s.
But they're also only eating McDoubles for their meals for every day too.
Or no, they're eating the Walmart cheap food.
Or that.
That's like the government.
True. I mean, people aren't living well, but at the same time, they're accepting it on a level that is like broadcast brainwashing. Like they're just happy to accept the life they're given, and they're just taking it and taking it and taking it.
Well, that's like I just said a few minutes ago. Nobody wants to be that asshole that rocks the fucking life raft. No.
Well, I can tell you right now, there's also other people, just like what he's saying. They're in their comfort zone. As long as they can stay in their comfort zone, they ain't going to do anything to mess it up. Because, this is bad. But, the cruel hard facts of life, there's a lot of people that are still losing their homes. There's a lot of people that are still losing their jobs.
Yep.
There's a lot of
and
people.
It's underreported. It's underreported huge.
It's growing. What I'm getting at is it's like a festering wound. It's growing. It's getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And all the time they're saying, well, things are getting better. It's a slow economy and we got to do this. If things were getting better, would they have to pump so damn much money into the economy? They wouldn't. Absolutely not. Things are not getting better like they're telling us it is.
All those people that are content to go along to get along, or get along to go along, like those are the people that are going to fill the camps. Like, though, honestly, like, because you can't tell me that they don't have concentration camps built in this country already.
Oh, you betcha.
Ready to ship people off to on a rail yard.
Look at the Denver airport. There's all that talk about all the mysticism behind it, all the symbols, all the, paintings there. But underneath it, there is a complex that is so big, and they claim it's for baggage removal.
Yeah.
No fucking way. You don't need that much space underground for baggage removal.
That's like saying I don't have any hair on my ass, and I'm an Italian, Greek, Albanian. Like, really? Come on.
He's also a ninja, by the way, too.
So we have another caller.
Yeah, we do. Area code. What's up, dude?
Desert Hawk.
What's up, Hawk?
Desert Hawk.
Yeah, man. Cool. Thanks for calling in, dude. What do you want to add? Quick, throw it down.
I was listening to the conversation. You were talking about the comparison of the Depression till now. Do not forget that back then, the vast majority of Americans lived out in the country as compared to the cities. Mm-hmm. Now it's the other way around.
For sure.
Okay.
Yep. I was going to point that out, actually, that they grew their own food. Being fed back then wasn't as much of a problem as everything else.
Well, they did everything by hand back then. I mean, everything, cutting wood,
Plowed the
to
fields.
getting their horses ready to go. They even had to start their cars by hand if they had a car.
Yep.
The other thing is, I would pay close attention to what's going on out in space. It's like a giant black hole in people's minds that's not even there. I mean, how much money is being spent? It's obviously not being spent on the space shuttles, so where is it going? Michio Kaku mentioned that we were weaponizing space since the 90s.
Well, yeah. Well, the idea was proposed by Reagan with Star Wars. Yeah, the Strategic Air Defense Command.
It was called the Strategic Defense Initiative.
That's what it was. Yeah. It's called the SDI.
So
cooler.
If we're up there arming space, what is the purpose? Are we still fighting the Cold War, or is there something else going on?
Oh, we're still fighting every war we've started ever since the beginning of this country, except for the War of 1812. We've been fighting every single war since still. Like, we're still under, the Civil War never ended. You know, and every other war, the only other war that we declared was World War I, World War II, and those were, I'm pretty sure those were ended, but we're still operating under the bullshit from Civil War, which puts us all as enemy combatants in enemy states, and we're not, we have no control over that because we don't know. We're lacking history. We're lacking knowledge of our own past.
That's my point. That's kind of my point is if that's what's going on, then where's all this money going?
Well,
you're not talking billions, you're talking trillions of dollars being thrown up into space, and we don't know what's going on.
That's
one of the factors of why we're so screwed is because we do not know what's going on. We don't even know who our president is. Who is our president? We don't know who our
saying.
All right, Scott.
We don't even know who our president is. I mean, that's profound.
Come on, everyone, real quick. Scott, yes, to say?
Yes. Some of the rumors going on right now in space is there's a project, and I think right now it's being nicknamed by people who are not in the know as the Odin Project. And I know that name has been taken over by video games since it became more public life. There's this project going on where they build satellites that have geosynchronous orbit that drop metal rods on whatever country you want to hit. And a metal rod dropped from orbit doesn't sound like much, but it hits with the impact of a nuke. So it's only the destructive impact and no fallout. And if that project's actually real and they're building it, then...
Yeah. That's referred to as a kinetic energy weapon.
Right. Star Wars is there to keep the rebels under control.
That's one system. But yeah, he's right.
I mean, that's going to cost a couple bucks in and of itself.
Metal rods with the guiding system. That's not too expensive. But anyways, I just thought I'd call in and make a contribution. And you guys.
You're ducking out so early? You just called in.
I'm going to duck out. I'm going to let somebody else roll.
Thanks for calling in, Desert Hog. You brought in a couple of really good points to this conversation.
All right. All right. I'll be on the chat. We'll see you guys later.
Hawkeyes out there, man.
Right.
I will. Adios.
Later, man. Appreciate it.
Okay, so the whole Star Wars thing, I don't think is designed for Cold War. I think it's designed to keep the local population under control. Like, it's more designed to keep us under lock and thumb.
I just had a thought about Star Wars. What if Star Wars is not just a U.S. thing? What if it's covertly under the UN thing, and that's what they use to promote strife across the entire planet at once?
It's entirely possible.
You just think about it. Like, well, it's global in its idea alone. It's a global positioned satellite system used for, weaponized defense or offense. It just because we paid for it and it was like announced by one of our presidents 3 decades ago.
For that, I can't write that off.
I'm sure there's a copy somewhere at the IRS freaking holding vault for you somewhere.
I want my receipt because I helped pay for that shit.
Can we write that off? Yeah. I don't think so. I don't think we can write it off. I don't think we can write it off. But my point being is that maybe there's an extra third level on top of this, us versus them. Maybe it's really more us versus them than we think it is. Like when you have all these satellites in orbit around our planet, operated by so many other countries, like maybe they're not actually trying to maybe the ploy, the show, on the outward appearance is that it's for defense against other nations. But when you look at our debt and who owns this country, there's got to be some cahoots going in there, man.
You think?
Yeah.
You think?
Yeah, I
mean,
do.
More people need to think, but you think?
I try to sometimes.
You do a lot, and I appreciate that. But
I got a question.
Go ahead.
When was the last time you heard a dollar figure on what is actually spent on Black Ops?
Never.
1982.
No, that's the word you're looking for. Is never.
Yeah, exactly.
Never. So as far as saying how much they spend or where it goes or anything else, what are they held accountable to? Nothing. And what's happening in space right now? Either way, it's not good. If what you're saying is true and all of them are working together, which I don't believe that. I don't follow that.
I just don't know the theory.
But what I'm saying is what I was when Desert Hawk was talking. What I see them doing is jockeying for position.
Yep. Trying to have more of those things out there than the next guy so that they can say, don't mess with us or we're going to drop 8-foot telephone poles on you made out of tungsten steel.
They might have something even better than 8-foot telephone poles. I mean, there's no telling what's actually there, but you can bet whatever we think is going on, they're 50 or 60 years ahead of that right now.
Well, of course. Well,
yeah, definitely.
I mean, that's the whole thing is like anything that we know about is because they allow us to know about.
That's exactly right.
They don't put out information unless they want us to be able to theorize on that. And it's like they're throwing scraps out to the feral dogs in the street and we're all fighting over it. And
I think you got it.
And making, our arguments over it and they're laughing and being like, they don't really know shit. Screw those fucking guys.
Mangy dogs is all they are. Don't worry about them. They're cannon fodder to be used up. They're a human resource. We're just going to use these things up. They're not worth anything to us. The more of them if they want to kill each other, that's fine. Let them kill each other. And if they don't, then what we have to train them to go kill who we want dead.
Well, you see,
I look at all the countries that we've went into. Oh my God! He was talking about the drone strikes. The drone strikes, they've been doing what they call a double tap.
Exactly.
They'll shoot it, and then they'll let the plane fly around for 10 or 15 more minutes till the people come in to get the people that are injured out, and then they'll hit it again. Well, they know what they're doing. They're killing innocent people all the time, and it don't bother them a damn bit.
They're the guys running the bum fights. They're the guys running the dog fights, the cock fight, whatever you want. Like they're the guys pitting other people against other people to make their dollar.
Right, and they're sitting back, and not only are they making money on the bum fight or whatever that they're operating
on
both ends, but they're also making money off the frickin' house.
Yep. Yeah, they collect all the money at the door.
The world is a casino. Welcome. You're not actually welcome.
The house always wins, and they always will.
That's right. The house always wins, and you always find yourself, as JJ would say, sticky, broken, confused.
I don't like that feeling. God, I hate that.
Especially when you wake up. Yeah, I know what you mean.
I hate it waking up just sticky. It's just gross. Anyway, you're basically we're going to hell in a handbasket at a very, very high rate of speed, and it picks up almost every day. Every day they do something because you can't tell me that when we're sleeping, they're sleeping. Even if they're
24/7.
Exactly. Even if they're in the same time zone, which is for me the EST, which is made up and arbitrary, by the way. But they're constantly working to screw us over. That is their goal in life, is to fuck us in the ass with no lubrication, just like
with sand spurs.
I'm just gonna light a cigarette and reflect on this conversation for a minute. I got a lot to digest here. Hold on.
Smoke another cigarette. That's
my nail in the coffin right there. My only guarantee in life. This is my only standard of life living right here is my cigarette. And freaking
we hear about all the scandals that go on. We got this one, we got that one, we got the SEALs, we got Benghazi. We go back. We had, look back over history. Look back over the last 20 or 30 years, and the scandal after scandal after scandal after scandal after scandal. And every 4 years we go, it's got to start getting better. It can't get worse. And every 4 years we're proven wrong.
Yep.
And the scandals haven't went anywhere. So look at these scandals. Look how horrible some of them are, and how much proof is there to prove that what happened, and how it's just totally ignored by the people who should be picking the football up and running with it. And they just let us talk and talk and talk and babble like a bunch of fools, and nothing happens because you know what? As long as we're talking and we ain't doing anything, they're happy campers.
Exactly. We can talk all we want, but
hell freezes over.
It's not going to change a goddamn thing.
Amen, brother. On that happy note, thanks for having me on.
Thanks for calling in,
I hear
Cracker.
the cows are coming home soon.
No problem. You guys have a good one.
Thanks for calling in, Cracker. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Mr.
Okay, bye-bye.
Yeah, that was lively.
That's been an awesome conversation so far, and we're right up against our 2-hour mark almost.
Hey, yeah, we're getting right down there. We're in the last 5-ish minutes. So
I don't know. So basically, what it comes down to me and Cracker called me on my shit, and thank you, Cracker, which is what is my solution? And I told you straight up, I don't have any, but I'm looking for some, and Cracker has a point of view, which is we only have one option. And I would, and Cracker agrees that hopefully there is another, but I don't really see one on the horizon. Anybody?
Well, we do still have one caller on the line, and Mr. Scott has been sitting there nice and patient, and I would like to know if Mr. Scott has any solutions to the issues that we deal with on a daily basis. You have about 2 minutes, man.
Oh, I don't know. I actually had my phone on mute so that you could talk and I could listen.
Yeah, well, I'm interrupting
but
your
I gotta
mute.
say, very interesting conversation. I'm loving the direction you guys are going in. I gotta say, as far as the NSA, the way the world's being watched right now, there's not a whole lot as an individual we can do about it, except sit back and read the news.
Yes.
I know that sounds very defeated.
Yes and no, Scott. It is very defeated. That's a very defeated way of thinking. And yes, watching the news is something that we need to do so we know how we're getting screwed and how much lube is not being applied. And when it comes right down to it, if we just realize by reading the news that hey, this isn't right. None of it's right. Like, what happened to that feeling of, being just and full of, just in time, that feeling of being just and right in your actions that you're putting forth in this world. Like, they're gone. And that's through social media and through collectivism and through the straight up brainwashing of our children.
I agree. I mean, I have children myself, and I always teach them to question everything. Never take anything on face value. I mean, let alone the history they teach us in schools and how wrong it is 100% of the time almost. Just question everything.
And I bet you $100 he's never listened to Bill Cooper in his life.
Probably not. I would imagine no.
What's really awesome is that he came up with that all on his own. And you know what, Scott? Do me and you and everyone else a favor. Check out Bill Cooper because he will open your mind some more and you are on the right track. Trust no one, listen to everyone, read everything, and believe nothing.
Do your own research.
Exactly.
And keep listening.
Exactly.
And keep listening to Just in Time on UCY.radio.
That's right. Tuesdays and Thursdays, 6 to 8, man. Following Jack Blood.
But you are exactly right, Scott. Question everything, believe nothing until you can prove it for your own.
That's the way to do, man. That's the way to do it. And we're coming up in the last 30-ish seconds, and I would like to thank Scott, Cracker, and Desert Hawk for calling in, Mr. James for being here on air with me tonight, here in the treehouse. We got, it's Tuesday, right?
Yeah. Yes.
We got Jonathan and Steven coming up next, and I'll be honest, I don't really know who's coming on after that. But there's Primer Time and Prepper Ticks too, at some point tonight. So everyone stick around. It's going to be an awesome night worth of radio, and, any last words, anyone?
I just say, let's just keep this up.
Good night, everybody. Good night. Thanks, Scott. Thanks, everyone in Tampa. Later.